Hello, my name is Daniel Wall. I am an artist, content creator, producer, audio engineer, and just an all around fun guy who wants to help the community and give
Nice.
back.
Nice. Yeah, and you're this call is going to go through a bunch of different things, but one of the coolest things about what you do or about like what you have at the moment is you have 400,000 TikTok followers. And you don't just do it as like you're actually a music channel on TikTok or a music page on
Exactly.
TikTok. You're not making like random fun videos which aren't related to music. You're actually doing music stuff, which is cool.
Exactly.
And so I wanted
And
to dive in. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
what's your like? How did that? I hear the thunder again. How did that all? How that start? Being on TikTok.
So I started on TikTok around June of 2019, and making content has always been a passion of mine, but I've always felt like I was kind of held back because of my friends being on Instagram, friends being on Facebook. So I always felt like I wasn't really myself.
Hmm.
And then when I heard about TikTok, I started posting on it. And what I noticed is none of my friends were on it. No one was really on it that I knew at all. So I was just kind of posting whatever I wanted. And it gave me the ability to not care.
Yeah.
From that, it really developed my own, I think of creativity as a muscle that you need to flex, especially when making content. So it allowed for that muscle to be flexed and then be able to kind of move into a direction I want to. And that's to use TikTok to grow music, grow a platform, and become an artist full time.
Nice. So, how long did it take you to get from, I don't know, like nothing to even like 10,000 people on the platform?
So I posted 150 videos without really going viral at first. I was just posting whatever I wanted. And then after 150 times posting, I posted a random video that got 300,000 views. After that point, the thing about TikTok is it's kind of like a snowball effect. When you
Yeah.
have one video that does really well, everyone goes and people will randomly follow you. And they'll go to other videos that you've had and start blowing up those videos, and then TikTok will start recommending your content to more people. That being said, though, a lot of people can think of the For You page as not really the way to build fans. It's a way to get attention. And if you can turn that attention into fans, cold audiences to warm audiences, that's really the goal. So the For You page allows you to get a bunch of attention. If you can turn that attention into more followers that move to other platforms, that's really the way that kind of went about doing it. But going
Yeah.
from 0 to 10,000 probably took me around 1 month.
Wow. Were you cranking out? I mean, you mentioned 150 videos before you got that one viral one, but
So
how many?
actually, if I started around June, I wasn't really starting to really post until August. So let's just say August is the starting point. September wasn't really that much of a growth. Probably at 700 followers. Then October, closer to 7,500. And I remember November, I had a meeting because it was around my birthday with a music festival friend of mine. And while in the meeting, I lost Wi-Fi. And when I got back on, before the meeting, I was like 9,000. When the meeting ended, I was at 11.5 thousand. I remember that happened. That was a huge deal because I wanted to screenshot it, but I couldn't.
That's
So
funny.
maybe 4 months, actually.
Wow. And like if you had to guess, how many videos would you say were that whole time?
Maybe 200, 250.
Oh snap! That's a lot of videos. It's a lot of
Yeah.
videos. Like I hear a lot of people when they talk about they talk about wanting to gain a presence on any platform, and they'll be like, I've posted like every day for a month or something, and then they'll complain about why things aren't happening. But I mean, a lot of people don't realize, like with YouTube, for example, people don't realize that I've had 550 videos that I've uploaded, and I've been putting out 2 videos a week for a while. And I would imagine on TikTok, most people probably don't realize, like, sure, there's people that blow up in 2 videos, but I feel like it's more common for stories like yours where it takes like months and a couple hundred videos to get to even 10,000. Like that's, in the grand scheme of things, that isn't anywhere near where you're at now. And it took you months.
To be honest with you, the last time I checked, one of my followers was making fun of me. He's turned into more of a friend. He was saying that I have more videos now than Charlie D'Amelio because I've been posting 4 to 5 times per day minimum for the last year or so.
Oh, Jesus. That's nuts. That's so nuts. Man.
So it's just something I enjoy. And then on top of it, being able to move that content over to something I really care about is really fun as well. So I think if you can have fun and you enjoy it, that's really the goal.
Right, because if you're just having fun and enjoying it, it's not really like a bore. It's not a pain to do. Like sure, there's times where I'm making videos and I'm like, I'm busy this week. To crank out a video on schedule, it's like it's not as desirable as it would be other weeks. But in general, I like making videos, so it's not like it doesn't feel as much like work as other things. So I'm guessing for you, that's kind of what TikTok is like. And
then I know, me personally, I've always had a hard time sticking to putting out content on YouTube. I don't know what it is. It's at least for right now, it's difficult for me to even the upload process feels like it takes 10 minutes minimum, even when you have the video done.
Yeah, it does actually. And the thing with YouTube is before I even shoot a video, I've done research on the topic to make sure that it's something that people want, both from like the subscriber perspective and from like a stranger perspective. Like, is this something people are searching for? Is this something people are going to watch? And then, then of course you got to make a thumbnail. You got to design your description. You got to come up with what links you're going to do. And just that part alone, all that research is like an hour for me. Like the upload itself, I plan it all ahead of time, so the upload's only that like 10-minute time, but it's a lot more work. But the thing is, like one video on YouTube, it's a bigger project than like a TikTok, which I think why TikTok, a lot of content creators do 5 videos a day. Like you could never do that on YouTube. It would never fly.
So true. Unless with like a huge production team.
Right, yeah. And some channels, I guess, do that, like the really big ones. Like Good Mythical Morning for a while was doing 3 videos a day in their main channel.
That's crazy.
1 on the second channel, and then they had something else, and they're a team of like 40 or 30 or something. Wow. And they bought Smosh, so they're like huge. They're a huge company. But
Good Mythical Morning bought Smosh?
Yeah. Their MCN, I think, went under.
Oh, very cool.
And so they bought them so that they wouldn't be like without a home. And so they kind of saved them from completely going under, I guess. I think it was Smosh. I believe so. They're like the comedy channel that does the skits.
Yeah, you're right. Mythical Entertainment.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah, they're big. They're real big.
Definitely. Wow.
But yeah, so in terms of your content, I'm going to see if I can pull up your TikTok in the background to kind of show people, at least on desktop. I know there's a way. Is it just Daniel's Wall, your username?
Yeah, DANIELSWALL.
It'll probably be hard to actually find it on there, but I'll get it up. So what kind of content have you found is the best to do? And I know this is kind of like a loaded question because it probably varies and it's always different, but like if someone's really trying to get into TikTok, someone's like, I hear all this amazing stuff about TikTok and why artists should be on the platform. Daniel, what should I do? How should I get into this? Like, what would your advice be?
My first advice would be to look at the platform for around a week or so and try. There's Diplo's content manager forces himself to watch TikTok for 15 minutes a day. And I was listening to a podcast with him recently, and he also is Dylan Francis's content manager. So on that end, what I would recommend is to research the platform that you're trying to go on. That's the first step. Just to understand it, understand what's working on there, and then flip it on its head to fit you in terms of the content you want to try to put out. Also, one of my pieces of advice would be have no expectations. If you're expecting to go viral, you're more likely to be disappointed, especially with all the stories you hear about. Probably not going to put in the time, the creativity to go into it. I had a friend recently, and we did a collab together, and it didn't go as viral as he wanted, and he's been disappointed ever since. So regarding that. So my advice would be no expectations on when posting. If it does go viral, even better. If it doesn't go viral, what's the next video that you want to put out? For artists, I would recommend, there's so many people just putting out music all the time, especially so many artists are flocking to TikTok to try to put out their music as much as possible. So you need to kind of stand out in a way. And how do you do that? You get people connected to you through stories, through getting their attention in the first millisecond, through quick cuts, through using the song in a way that fits a trend possibly, and then even making a trend out of it if you can.
Yeah. Right. And the whole trend thing is kind of an interesting topic too. Like, do you think it's good for people to jump on existing trends? Like, does that?
It definitely can work. I have a friend of mine who does it, and he's grown to 40,000 followers now. Oh. I've never been a person that followed trends because it feels kind of lazy to me.
Yeah.
I kind of just do whatever I want in a sense. Sometimes it'll be, but it's mostly around music all the time.
Right, right.
But on that end, yeah, trends can work really well. The thing that kind of annoys me about TikTok is there's so much copying of content. Like if someone comes up with an idea, like 15 people do it. And they get all of the same, sometimes they get even more attention than the original creator. Yeah,
sometimes I'll see a big video and I'll like check the sound and there'll be some small person that did it and just no one cares about them, which is kind of sad, but I guess that's kind of the whole platform is basically built on stealing, I guess, like, or not stealing, but reusing.
There's these two guys, they're named Colin and Samir, and they make really great breakdown videos. And they did one on TikTok where they talked about the original CEO and how he created TikTok almost like an economy. So he gave all the wealth to like a certain 1%, saying like anyone could become this huge celebrity. And that's what it kind of did. So it gives people the option to basically have the potential to blow up. That's one of the first big things about it. Then another thing that I think really attracts people to it is the fact that you don't have to search for anything on the platform. Like content automatically comes up for you. So there's no real like having to work at all. It's very easy for someone to consume on the platform versus like YouTube where you have to look to the side and look for recommended or search for something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really hard to find videos, to be honest with you, on TikTok.
It is. Yeah. If you search for stuff, they don't really give you any sorting options really. Like there's a couple like user or hashtag but if you're trying to find a specific video by someone, you're usually going to like find the user and scroll for a couple of hours and try to find the video. Like, there's no titles for videos. There's just like captions and just captions and hashtags and users. So yeah, that's a good point. It is they kind of adapted that scroll mentality where they, just give people an infinite scrolling wheel of content and, tailor it to their needs, I guess, so that it just makes them stick on the platform. And it's kind of nuts. Like some people will do like actual valuable videos and other people are doing like kind of meaningless entertainment, like dances or stupid things. And it's kind of like a mini reality show in some ways.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And then on that end, I mean, educational content I think is going to do super well because they just added that huge fund for people, a $200 million fund in the US for educational content.
That's interesting.
And then they're adding apparently a $2 billion fund for creators in the US.
Damn.
There's another piece that's interesting as well. So, I mean, on that end, even seeing everyone else who's kind of copying them is also quite interesting, like with the launch of Reels and Dub Smash and and there's 20 of them, to be honest.
Yeah, like when TikTok crashed that day, it was like right after Trump announced that he was going to exit.
That was crazy.
Byte got a huge surge of users because I was on Byte for a while. I never really like used it much, but they got a huge surge, and there was all these I guess. What do they call them? Zoomers? Is that the phrase for Gen Zers? Zoomers?
Yes.
Are you Gen Z? Or are you a millennial?
I am right in between. I'm called a Zillennial.
Zillennial.
I was born in 1996, so like
Okay.
right after to know what 9/11, like to remember 9/11, but young enough also to like know what it was like without cell phones, but
Yeah. But kind of not.
right on the cusp, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think technically by the definition, you're a millennial. I think, or maybe that's the
Which is
cutoff
like
here.
kind of. Sometimes people say it's 1998 or 1995. So
Yeah,
half the time I don't really listen.
It's a weird thing. But anyways, on Byte, like there was like a fight because Byte was considered kind of like a millennial platform, I guess, and TikTok's kind of like the Zoomer platform. And all of a sudden, all these people on Byte were like, screw, like F all you Gen Zers, like get the hell off my app. And then some people were like, this is supposed to be like a LGBT app. And I didn't even know that. I guess it's big in the LGBT community or something. They're like, get the hell off my app. And there was just like this crazy thing of TikTokers invading like this completely different world. And
did you hear about Triller and what they're doing now?
No.
So there's a guy named Josh Richards who is a part of the Sway House, who like goes against the Hype House in a way. They're not really against. I don't even know, to be honest, if they're competitors or like together or anything like that. But Triller actually recruited Josh Richards as, I think it's CSO, so Chief Strategy Officer for the entire app. So a TikToker.
Yeah.
To come on and basically try to create deals for TikTokers and try to move them over to Triller based on everything that's going on.
Ooh. That's it. The kind of like political world behind these apps is kind of, maybe not political world, but the business world. Like what Facebook launched Reels at kind of like a deathly time for TikTok, right? Because
definitely,
like I think that was probably conscious. Like they probably had a later release date, and Facebook's probably like, you guys got to release this thing. Like we're going in for the kill.
Definitely.
And it seems like it's not all there yet. Like it's kind of an awkward platform to use at the moment, but I mean it's Facebook and they have infinite resources.
True.
So actually,
and they also.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say they also launched Lasso.
Oh yeah,
which is their other Facebook's version of
that closed. I joined it like 6 months ago or something, and it shut down 2 months ago. Officially.
Really?
It shut down right after they announced TikTok might get pulled. It was like the worst timing in the world. Yeah, it's officially shut down, and they won't even let you access your old videos.
Wow.
Just to say hey to the chat. Sup, Saya. Sup, A Mill.
What is up?
And Mike again. So yes, what do you think of Trump wanting to ban TikTok? This is actually, let's just dive into that part because Mike was asking about that earlier. So
definitely, what's
going to happen to you, and do you have any plans on like how to protect yourself if all of a sudden TikTok is banned in the United States? Because it's kind of a real possibility at this time, which is kind of freaky.
My thoughts on the subject are, if TikTok were to be banned, I'm doing the best of my abilities to try to move the community that I've created to other platforms.
Yeah.
By using content to get them involved. One of the ways I found to do that is to basically create, one of the biggest series I had on TikTok was Songs That Sound the Same.
Yeah.
It was one of the first series that blew up for me. That's something I kind of like went away from, but I brought it back. And the whole thing is I want the community to give me suggestions instead. So I'm having them message me on Instagram their song suggestions. So I'm not asking them to follow me. I'm asking them just to message me. And the people who want to be a part of that community on Instagram are going to follow. So it's not going to create fake followers. It's going to be like, if you really want to follow me, go ahead. I'm bringing them to the platform, but they're not required to do anything besides message the songs.
Right, and you actually have a good reason to do that because the messaging on TikTok kind of sucks already.
It does suck.
Like, I have trouble messaging people that I know in real life. And I'll be like, did you get that message I sent you? Like, I shared a video. And they're just like, there's messages on TikTok? Like, what? And so it makes sense. Like, message me on Instagram, because, slide into my DMs and all that.
I think it's important to start moving to other platforms, because I think Gary Vee said it very great. He said that I'm going to spend 80% of my time in the one platform that's getting all this attention. I'm going to spend 20% of my time in all these other platforms, and I'm going to taste what I can. If this platform dies, I'm in all these other platforms too, and I'll move that 80% to move across all these others as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at launching a bunch of different songs and using TikTok before it gets quote unquote banned, if it does, to move people over to Spotify, as well as move people over to YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter if they really want to go over there. So trying to use TikTok to move them to other platforms if it gets banned.
Yeah, and I've been trying to do this as much as I can in my YouTube channel. Like, not that YouTube's going away or anything. It's just that, you know, I always try to remember that at any time, any of these platforms can just change the rules and kind of just screw you over. Like, you never know. And so I've always tried to think of ways that I can get people on a mailing list, get them to follow me on another platform. And, you know, not just like you said it, like not to like force anyone to do it, but come up with creative ways that like provide extra value. Like when I do my music review Mondays, I did that on Twitter because Twitter was a good way for people to submit music. It's kind of, Twitter's made for like live conversation, so it works good for a live event. And then giving away free stuff, but they have to give an email address in exchange to get the free stuff. So that's kind of some of the tactics I've used, and YouTube's not even going away. So I'd imagine you're kind of in panic mode trying to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if it does go away, it goes away. I'm not going to stop creating. I don't think anyone should stop creating if they really enjoy it. It's disappointing to create a platform, to create a community on a platform, and then see it kind of taken away with you. I'm sure the same thing happened when Vine got taken. With all these people trying to move. But I mean, they did. A lot of people were successful in terms of moving their audiences. A lot of them weren't. And it's a good test to see what did these other people do in order to move their audience. David Dobrik left early, started vlogging on YouTube before Vine was taken away. That was an example of just one person. And I mean, I can say all I want about why I don't think it should be banned. That's not the point, though. The point is, what do you do if it does get banned? And that is the different kind of tactics to take.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten into some heavy Twitter arguments, like defending why TikTok shouldn't be banned. Because, you know, it's people like it's this Chinese company spying on the United States people. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily buy the conspiracy theories on that stuff. Like, and even if they are, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't really think that they are. I guess that's probably where the thing is.
I mean, I guess my thoughts on it are, ever since May of 2020, they've had an American CEO. More than 20% of their employees are American. They just bought, I think, $800 million of Google servers on U.S. soil to move their data to.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft is talking about buying them. Now, TikTok, I guess, I don't know if this is true. TikTok is talking about suing the Trump administration to move off from ByteDance to become its own company in the U.S. So there's a bunch happening. I don't know when the ban's going to happen, if it will happen.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't think it should happen. I don't think the ban should happen. I mean, it's like what you said, like they did mention that the data stored for Americans is stored on American servers. But the problem is, like, everything that everyone's saying, you have no way of proving it. Like, TikTok says they're not doing anything. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories of people accusing them of doing sketchy stuff. And I don't believe the conspiracy theories because there's so many Chinese apps and companies that could also be doing things that our government just doesn't care about. Like, I mean, one of the biggest companies in the world for, like, e-commerce is Alibaba. And a lot of Americans use Alibaba. Are they spying on us? They have an app too, AliExpress. What about them? Also owned by Alibaba. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna pick this app, why aren't you gonna talk about all those other apps that are even bigger? You know,
I think they are. Trump is talking about banning Alibaba now.
Yeah, I mean,
and same with Tencent, who owns Epic Games. So I mean, like,
yeah. The
main one they're talking about is TikTok, but there's like 5 other companies that are Chinese owned that they're talking about banning as well.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to make this a wholly political thing, but I mean, I guess it's good to talk about, especially as an artist,
because it's happening. Oh,
It's
yes,
as like an
very
artist,
true.
it's, or even not even just an artist, but a creator. It's banning it might do something positive if they're actually doing something sketchy, but it's going to screw over a lot of Americans who have worked really hard to build a lot of things. So it's not just about, it's not, you can't ignore that. I don't think I think it'd be better for them to come to a resolution than it would be to outright ban it. Like, tell them you have to do this and you have this amount of time to do it, or we're going to ban you in 6 months, rather than, I think originally Trump was like September 1st
Saturday
or something. Yeah. And it's like, I think that just screws a whole lot of Americans over, and a Chinese company that might be doing nothing wrong. So, but you know, I said that on Twitter at some point, and people just yelled at me and called me names. So it was a good time.
Twitter's an interesting place.
Yeah, I would say probably the most toxic social media app out there right now is Twitter, in my opinion. Just
good to know. I just kind of like, I'm more of a what's the term? I'm more of a shouter on Twitter. I don't really consume a lot on there. Kind of just say whatever I want and leave.
Yeah, I think that's why it's the most toxic place. I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people will go on Twitter and they'll see something they don't agree and be like, "You're an idiot," and then just not even bother looking at the replies.
Then, yeah.
And sometimes I go in there because I'm looking for a fight. Like, I'll look and I'll find something that I know that I'm going to disagree with, and I'll go there and leave a comment that I know everyone's going to hate. And, you know, and I guess that's probably the problem. It's just Twitter makes it so easy to do that. And you're almost rewarded for it in a way. Like, you get more like engagement by doing that.
That's a good point, actually.
And music distributors are pushing to TikTok now too. Like, DistroKid's been pushing to TikTok for a while, and ot.org, I don't know if that's how they say that in the chat, just said TikTok and United Masters just linked a music distribution deal, and all these companies
Very
are adding
true.
it. So it's like, what the heck happens to all that music that's being used? And some people are making a lot of money from it, probably.
Very true. I've found that, I mean, I made a good amount on DistroKid from TikTok specifically. Not a ton. Like, some people out here, like some of the bigger people who are actually artists, are making a lot more money. But still, I mean, I saw this one girl actually who says she got 100 million views and she only made $7. So I'm sure why that is. I think she posted an original sound versus an actual song. I think that was the difference where it comes in.
Okay. Yeah, because when you distribute it through your distributor, it's different. Like, I don't think I've gotten more than a handful of like plays in my stuff on TikTok. And I think even still, I've gotten like some amount of pennies from it. I've gotten 25 cents from TikTok, but I think I've literally gotten like a couple hundred views from TikTok. So I would think that the distribution actually pays like on par with, you know, I'm not going to say on par with Spotify, but maybe on par with like YouTube. What is it called? YouTube ad. The content ID pays horribly, and then maybe TikTok's probably around there, or Instagram and Facebook also, but they're a music distributor. Like,
true.
And the cool thing with you is, like, if you use your own song in a video that gets 25,000 views, like, I wonder how much you actually make from that, because that gives you a lot of power, like to promote your own music, you know.
I've found that TikTok, what it gives you is it gives you attention. And so if you can use that attention and move it into more of a monetization purposes, that's really the goal. My biggest like successes with terms of monetization on TikTok were brand deals.
Okay. How does that typically work in TikTok? I mean, I know how it works in YouTube. And obviously you don't want to talk about the exact deals and numbers,
yeah.
But what can you say about it?
What I can say is that right now, TikTok, in terms of brand deals, is like the Wild West. There's no real like way to scope it down in terms of what people want. So when people offer you different things, it's all over the place. Sometimes they're like, I'll give you $10. Sometimes they'll say, I'll give you 1,000. Sometimes they'll say, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. If you sell this affiliate link, you get 50 cents, like all these random type of deals are coming all over the place. A lot of the ones that are pushing right now is in China on TikTok. They launched their version of the Creator Fund that's been around for around a year. And it sounds like brands are partnering with users to kind of use affiliate links where users would get a certain amount for the brand if the customers use it through the affiliate link. It looks similar to like when you see on Instagram when someone like clicks on it and it pulls up the actual product that you can buy right then and there.
Right. That's
in China, it sounds like they've actually like integrated a shopping center inside of TikTok, so you can just buy it right then and there and ship it to your house.
That's cool. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, I know that Instagram now is the shopping built in, but it's kind of like exclusive now for who can get it. It's even hard to like list because I have my own store for my sample packs. You can't list digital products on Instagram yet, or you can't on our Facebook account.
Interesting.
They'll only do physical products, and so I've kind of been boxed out of taking part in that, unfortunately. But that's a cool way to do it. Like have a physical purchase, so that way an influencer can kind of promote it, and it's tracked a lot more easily inside of an app.
If you can get a lot of attention, like someone with millions of followers, then you're going to get more of just like the branding deal where if you show this product and promote it, we'll give you this amount of money. That's where you see like Jason Derulo say, I make $90,000 per TikTok.
That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, I remember Casey Neistat, someone asked him what he makes for like a sponsored deal, and it was like tens of thousands of dollars or something.
That's crazy.
Because not only does he have a big audience, but the audience is like hardcore. Like they're all engaged.
True. And he puts a lot of time and effort into his videos, so that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, and people trust him. I mean, like I love his channel, and he seems like a very genuine guy. He's very clear when he's being paid to do something, and when he recommends something, you can kind of assume it's at least not a scam and probably a decent product, which is always good. But yeah, for the brand deals, do you ever give any of these companies like a number, or do they always come to you and throw a number your way?
The first brand deal I had, I basically just kind of pitched myself to this company that I really wanted to work with. It was a music company.
Yeah. And
they're like, yeah, let's do it. And from that, I talked to their content manager. It was some title.
Yeah.
And we came up with an agreement on that end and what I would do and like the amount of stuff. And from working with one brand deal turned into much more. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It allowed brands to see, okay, this person is working with an audience now where they're seeing somewhat success. Let's see if we can move it over here. The one that I do get all the time, though, that I have never said yes to is using people's songs.
Okay. So, but like, I know there's some websites where you can kind of connect with a curator, or not a curator, influencer, to promote your music in some cases. So is that what you're talking about? Like people hitting you up saying like, hey, I just dropped a new single. Can you use the sound? And
all the time.
Do you never do it?
Never done it.
Why is that?
It doesn't feel right, first of all. Secondly, I will do it for friends for free.
Yeah.
If I am trying to post my music, I only want to offer music that I really believe in, especially if I'm a music channel. I don't want to take someone else's song that I don't believe in. That's just like my morals of it. If I was smart, I'd probably be doing all of them.
I guess that makes a lot of sense being a music channel. Like I feel like if you were a tech channel using it in the background, I feel like that'd be a different image than if you're a creator yourself, you're a music creator yourself, and you're talking about music. So maybe that's what makes it weird. Because I see it all the time on TikTok. Like someone uses sounds, you'll see like a little thing at the end of the description that's like hashtag promoted sound, whatever hashtag they use to show it's a sponsored post, and it seems kind of scammy sometimes with some of these channels that do it. Like they'll have like 100,000 followers, but then you look at their engagement and it's like 10 likes a video or something.
Exactly. It's all over the place. Especially like I have a bunch of friends that are trying to like promote their music through TikTok, and They spent like $2,000 hitting up different creators. And engagement is all over the place. Like follower count doesn't seem to matter on the app.
Right. Like at all.
Unless you're huge.
Yeah, I mean, like for you, you know, with 400,000 followers, obviously you're getting a lot more engagement and views per video than what's Outlook at right now? A couple thousand? I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but Outlook the rapper, who I actually had on a couple episodes ago, when I talked to him back then, he had like 1,500. So, you know,
let's check.
By just the nature of having more followers, it makes sense that you get, you know, I'll put your TikTok on screen. You won't see this, but everyone in the chat will. You know, 25,000 views, 15,000 views, like pretty consistently 15,000-ish views, except when a video tanks.
Exactly.
Sometimes up to 40 and stuff.
If you keep going, there was a point where the For You page really liked me. And where is it?
I can only fit 2 columns on screen, so I might pass by it. But 80,000 views. The live stream's delayed by a few seconds, by the way. So
there was one that got
662,000, making the minions sound like humans. Man, that one did really well.
And then 2 under that, it was doing the same thing to Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I mean, like, and that got 661,000. So there's points where like the algorithm really likes me and it'll push me a lot more. And then there's points where it won't. And the points that you see that it won't get, I mean, they get decent view counts, but at the same time, I mean, I find that the reason why I post so much, I feel like, is because when I was only posting 1 time a day, the amount of views and like engagement that those posts were getting affected my mood because I only had like 1 video to post it on. But if I can like push and like make whatever I want, I usually stop caring about the video within like 30 minutes of posting.
Huh. That's interesting. So
because I'll just have another one to post 2 hours later.
Right, yeah. So you kind of don't obsess over it as much. You just kind of post it. That's it. I'm done. Like, yeah, I mean, you might engage with some people and check some stuff, but yeah, with YouTube, definitely. When I post a video, I mean, I tend, assuming I'm free, I'll do a premiere for the video so I can sit and chat with people as it's airing. And then I'll also read the comments for like the next couple hours. Like I'll check frequently and try to reply to people. But on TikTok, that's like if you're cranking out 6 videos a day, like you'd have to be doing it full time to do that. Like you'd have all the time. You would just be talking to people on TikTok.
On that end, do you find that on YouTube you're like on the go responding to people? Or are you sitting in front of your computer typing stuff out when you're commenting to people?
It varies. Like sometimes I'll I don't know, be bored somewhere. Maybe not bored, but I'll be waiting for something. And I'll pull out my phone and I'll open up the YouTube Studio app and I'll just kind of go through comments, read them, reply. And sometimes I'll see a big one. I'm like, I got to respond to this when I get home. Like it'll be a big one I have to write a lot for. And I used to try to reply to every single comment up until like 2 or 3 months ago where it just got to be a little too much. And now I kind of have to pick and choose. It's a good problem to have, but I always feel bad when like people spend the time to like reach out and I don't have the time to reach back. But I think people get it. You know, they understand. Definitely. So it's been cool. And Spiritual in the chat just said, get this guy to TikTok one of my songs. Yeah, well, unfortunately, you have to be friends with him to get him to TikTok your songs.
Hey, you know, I haven't ruled it out completely yet.
Yeah, all you have to do is befriend him in some way, and then you'll get free TikTok songs for life. So
easily.
Yeah.
At least until it gets banned, or if it gets banned.
Yeah, so you might only have a couple weeks. Act fast.
On that note, what I'm trying to implement on TikTok now is a strategy, a post-promotion strategy for, I like to call it an EP like singles run, where like all the songs are related to each other, trying to do it in a way that uses TikTok to its advantage to try to push it out and push the songs out to as many people as possible. So that's what I'm probably going to be launching next month before the app goes away.
That's interesting. So what kind of content do you have planned around that?
It's going to be around three posts a day regarding the song. One that like has it as a trend, one that like connects it to a story, and one that shows the behind the scenes of like how the song was created or anything interesting with it, or using that song with something that's going on that's trending at the time.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Because one thing I recommend to people is when they have released, I have a video on this where I say, I called it something like how to make 50 songs for a single, or sorry, no, how to make 50 social media posts for a single. And I recommended people make like 50. And in the video, I make like 80 social media posts for one single.
That's awesome.
Throughout the video. And I show how all of those are done, because people are always like, there's no way you do that. And like the video took me like an hour to make. So basically it took me an hour to make all that content. And what you're doing for that is kind of a similar process. It's like every post gets X amount of impressions. So if you can do 3 videos a day around that, you're going to get whatever impressions each video is going to get times 3 times the number of days that you do it. And at that point, it just becomes about how can you relate the song to something else that doesn't make it sound like an advertisement.
Exactly.
I think the trends and the stories is a great way to do that.
And then getting other people involved. I've noticed that when you reply to people and get someone connected to something, that's really the goal of what I'm trying to move into. Kind of similarly to what you're doing on Patreon, I'm trying to move people over to Discord.
Yeah. I have a Discord too. It's a good time.
Hey, gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's the way I've been trying to do that is like periodically in a live stream, I'll just drop the link to it. And so it's kind of like a surprise thing. Which, by the way, let me drop the link to the...
That's such a good plug. Set you up for that.
Yeah, because it's like... and it's a cool thing because there's a public portion where anyone can just join and chat. I'm not in it like all day, but I try to check it like once every couple days and have some conversations. But then I also have a Patreon exclusive section to kind of give the people who want the extra stuff a way to get more access, kind of like a smaller group. So it's a fun place to hang out and not just like get info from me, but learn from other people in the community. And for you, it's probably a great way to get people off a potentially sinking ship.
Exactly. And on that note, I've been trying to implement the kind of things that you said earlier. Email list. I was trying to get on Community to start text message.
I'm using Superphone right now. Superphone. You don't have to apply for it. I think they have a fake application. So they'll say like request access, and then like an hour later you'll get access. It's pricey.
Is it? Okay, sweet.
The base price is $20 a month for up to, I think it's like 100 contacts and 1,000 texts is covered under that plan.
Wow.
And then after that, they charge you like a penny per text and 10 cents per subscriber. So it's expensive. So you have to use it like cautiously.
Efficiently, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm testing it now. And it's cool because it gives me a way to give people like a number that's easy to reach me at, but at the same time not use like my real personal number, because that would be hard to do.
True.
Because then you'd have to like change my number that I've had for like 15 years or whatever. But yeah, I mean, TikTok's trying to come out with their own music site too.
Really?
Yeah. So do you use DistroKid?
I do.
Our music is already sent there, actually. And I forget what it's called. Let's see. Oh, Resso. RESSO. It's a...
I heard about this from Caleb.
Yeah. So I don't know when it's coming out to like the US and other countries. I think it's available in India and a few other like Asian countries. It launched in India, and Okay, I guess they don't have Tencent or Universal Music But anyways, they're calling it a social music streaming app, and so
That's interesting.
Users can share lyrics, they can comment on songs, they can generate user content with the songs alongside all of these full-length tracks. So kind of like if you integrated Spotify with like TikTok and like Instagram. Like imagine if you go on Spotify and leave a comment on like Drake's new
That'd
album
be so cool.
or something. And
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, like I think that's kind of it's a really great idea, and it'll probably never come to the US right now, but it sounds like, why isn't there a distribution service that already has the ability to do that?
Well, I mean, in a way, there kind of is. SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud sucks.
It's not to the same level. Yeah, definitely. Agreed. But I mean, in a sense, you could comment on like Lil Baby's song or something like that.
I guess that.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
The UI isn't great.
Yeah, and it's a very like it's nothing's official, right? On SoundCloud, you can just put stuff up whenever you want and take it down. A platform like Spotify, where like you can still take stuff down and add it whenever you want with a distribution partner, but there's like a gatekeeper that says like this content meets the needs of our store, and like the barrier to entry sure is low. Like you can release a 5-minute song of like nature noises and get it on Spotify probably. But still there's someone there that's making sure you're not like stealing music and doing stuff like that.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm hoping that we eventually get that, because that sounds just like, imagine if you as a content creator right next to your Spotify stuff could drop like awesome engaging video content whenever you wanted, that could blow up on the same platform that your music's on. Like imagine if like just right on TikTok on your profile, someone could just click like listen to my album. It'd be incredible. And
True.
Yeah.
They've kind of implemented that on TikTok for people who are considered artists. So if you like scroll to the left for people who are artists who have a song, you can see their songs and then you can use the list. But what you're saying is basically like you literally can listen to their song right then and there. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
If you could bring that over. If you could fuse those two together, that would be awesome. I completely agree.
Yeah. So hopefully Resso comes to the world, or comes to the United States. WorkU said 400,000. Wow. Imagine how many puppy pictures are on the phones of people who have watched you, man. What?
Probably a lot. I love puppies.
More than 10 million puppies around the world for sure, yo. I don't even know what you mean by that.
It's really interesting too, because one day I randomly woke up and my friend was like, yo, you're on Famous Birthdays. I was like, wait, what? And then they just like added a bunch of TikTokers on there recently. And you made the cut. On there, it allows you to say like the millions of what you just said. And you can edit people's like pieces of it. And someone mentioned something about puppies on my description when I was first on it. So that just brought it back real quick. It was kind of like Wikipedia, where someone can just like edit your entry before like you actually take it over. Oh, okay. That's cool that you made the cut for that, though. I mean, Famous Birthdays, and I guess that means you're officially famous. You've made it. Not really. It's no small feat, like growing on any platform to 400K. True. And the fact that you could grow on TikTok to 400K means that, like, I think if TikTok vanished tomorrow and you were starting from square one on whatever the next TikTok is, you're going to be able to do it again. You know, if you have the tenacity to make 6 videos a day for a year, it don't matter what platform you're on, you're going to do well. Like, you're going to figure it out. Now I got to start making at least like one video on YouTube a week at least. Yeah. I mean, that's YouTube's a hard place because it's really hard to start. Like every video takes a good amount of work and the feedback isn't as quick because there's really no like automated discovery platform for new channels. So you're kind of like pushing this snowball along. And at some point it just kind of goes faster and faster and gets bigger and bigger on its own. But like it takes a long time to just get it to that point, what I've noticed. Like, for example, if you start a YouTube channel, I know you already have one, but if you started a YouTube channel today, if you got to 1,000 subscribers in your first year, I'd say that was good. I'd say that was very good. And sometimes people do it faster, but like
that'd be a pretty good rate. And on other platforms, like even Instagram, like it shouldn't take you that long if you're cranking out content at a respectable scale, you know? So
on that note, I guess for anyone out, because a lot of your audiences are around artists, people who are looking to kind of build their music. So I guess my recommendation for TikTok, if you're interested in that, especially like, even if it does get banned, there's still a period of time where you could blow up. I've had friends who went from 20 followers to 25K in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, like there's still opportunity to build an audience even right now.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to grow for the artists out there, I would try to push in terms of creating content around you versus creating content around your music, especially on TikTok. Because I find that people are more willing to listen to your music, especially on an app that's more visual, if they like you and know you as a person, at least as a creator. And I'm sure that that's the same on most apps. But if you can move the content around you, it's easier to start pushing music versus pushing your music without anyone knowing who you are or anything about you.
Yeah, that's a very great point. And I've said that about people ask what kind of content they make and what kind of content they could make, because they're like, I can't just talk about my music all the time. And I'll say, like, you really shouldn't talk about your music all the time. Otherwise, people are going to feel like you're trying to sell them on something. You really want to get them to know you and like you. And even if you're not their favorite artist in the world, they might listen to your music because they care about you. And so what you said is exactly that same statement. Like, make video content about you. And you see the celebrities that are like already successful in the music world doing that too.
True.
Like, I don't know I know San Holo's on TikTok. I don't know if you're into EDM.
Hey,
but
I love San Holo.
Yeah, so he's on TikTok and he just makes funny videos with all his bird jokes because everyone knows he's into birds. And he never really talks about his music unless something awesome is going on, you know.
Other people who are Charlie Puth is a big one on TikTok who's like been able to like take trends and make them his own. Jason Derulo is someone who, in my opinion, has went from being an artist to a TikToker to using TikTok to push his music. But I mean, I think he's more relevant than ever right now than a year ago even.
Yeah. So it sounds like Daniel Wall's rule or guidebook to making it as a TikToker as an artist. Number 1, watch TikTok videos for 15 minutes every day to understand the platform. Look up other artists who are having success on the platform. Crank out multiple pieces of content every day. Don't obsess over the stats on every single post. Otherwise, your mental health will decline.
True.
And try to make your content about you instead of just talking about music. Like, talk about maybe your time in the studio. Talk about what's going on in your life. Talk about maybe you have a second passion other than music. Maybe you like photography. And also have fun. And if you're not having fun, probably don't stay on TikTok. Choose another platform that you will have fun on. So
exactly. I think it's great, like what TikTok allows you to do, because the built-in editing software is so easy to use. So it's so easy for any if they have a phone, they could literally make content right then and there, versus something like YouTube or Instagram where everything has to be made outside and then edited and then put on.
Yeah.
So the way it works is great. It's better than Triller in terms of the UI. So
Triller's awful. Awful UI.
Triller's terrible.
It's terrible. Like the worst interface I've ever. Like, I made 3 videos on the platform just to try it out when I saw it. It took me like 15 minutes to figure it out. And the whole point of the app is to make music videos easily. That's like what they say. And it's, yeah.
Even the scrolling's not very good. Like,
yeah, it's they really messed that one up.
Small.
And there's a bunch of, it's like all rappers too, so if you're a rapper, maybe you'll have some success on Triller. I'm not a rapper. So
same.
I
feel like you make all kinds of music.
Yeah, I mean, my solo stuff is like a mix of EDM and pop, I guess, like future bass often. And then my I'm in a couple of side projects. Like one, I'm the vocalist of like a rap rock kind of Linkin Park group, and then I'm the vocalist in a project called Murder Night, which is like dubstep and metal mixed together, and a few other things. So I do make a whole bunch of
dubstep and metal together. Wait,
yeah,
I need to check that out. That sounds crazy.
Called Murder Night, but night is spelled Nite, and it's a joke from Rick and Morty. There's like an episode where they're like, oh, it's a goddamn murder night here, and they're like killing all the villagers because they're like trying to kill them. They're zombies or something, and I forget. But yeah, it's like dubstep meets metal, which is cool. Getting like the producer, Big Jer, friend of mine, is he makes all this dope like bass music, and I try to like write catchy rock melodies over it that are also kind of choppy and electronic, and also like awesome brutal screams on it. So it's a good time.
That's sick. That's really. I have to check out that. That one sounds crazy. I've heard a lot of your songs. I'm a fan.
Oh,
you put out one recently that like I wasn't expecting. It was more of like definitely more on the side of pop because I was expecting. No, it's actually more on the side of rock.
Oh, is it Socialize? That
Yes.
one was yeah, that one I actually have a scream in it, which is the first recent song of mine that I've used my screaming abilities in. But yeah. What kind of music do you make? I know I've checked it out when we first met, but I don't remember, unfortunately.
I'm pretty similar to all over the place. I just kind of like I don't try to put myself into a genre because I just make whatever I want. At least right now. But when I produce for other people, that's when I genreize myself. But the more I can kind of push myself in different directions, the better. I like to say I make pop. Because pop just means popular.
Right, yeah. You have a lot of freedom if you're making pop.
But a lot of it gravitates towards like acoustic or EDM or just pop. Or like
some kind
of pop. I don't know how to
describe
it. It's some kind of pop.
I mean, pop can be like hip hop, pop can be R&B, pop can be rock. So it's kind of nice to. That's why I say I do EDM and pop. Because that means I can be specific and also say nothing at the same time. You know, it's like it's broad enough that I can be flexible when I get bored, but it's also specific enough where I can just tell people I do EDM and pop.
Definitely. And I gotta tell you, with TikTok, what I was able to do was I built a following on TikTok first, and then I started dropping music after it. And the songs that did better were the ones where I really pushed towards and pushed content that wasn't like, listen to this song. It wasn't like that. It was more like, this is a song I made. Here's a story behind it. And it was only a couple of videos and they did really successful. And then all these people were gravitating towards the songs. And the ones where I got more like desperate in terms of like I didn't have a story, those didn't do as well.
Yeah.
When it was more genuine and real, that's when like people would gravitate towards Spotify.
So your song, Just Let It Go, it came out this year, and it's got 25,000 streams on it. So what's the story behind how you promoted that one? Because that seems to be your number one release at the moment. That
was the first song that I put out on Spotify. So the whole thing around it was the fact that I waited 3 years to drop a song because I thought I was a perfectionist. I thought I was making the perfect song. But the whole thing I learned from it was I needed to just let go and put out a song. So I think that really connected with a lot of people because the whole point was like almost like this inspirational like story that I took you on. It was edited really well together. It was like showing the process of me from like 5 years ago trying to record on GarageBand all the way up to like finally making this song, giving up on it, coming back to it. And that video did extremely well and put a lot of people over to that song.